Welcome, welcome, welcome to this teaching again in Creed, our men's group teaching where we're talking about temperaments. And as usual, I want to remind you that alone I'm a flame, together we are a fire. I want to go directly into this teaching because this is a very, very, very exciting teaching. And I want you to make sure you're taking notes and keeping track of what you're being taught today, because it's going to help you become a better person, become a better husband, become a better wife, become a better just overall person as we get straight into the teaching. I also want to remind you to make sure you watch the previous videos. We've talked about the choleric, we've talked about the melancholy, we've talked about the sanguine, and today we're talking about the phlegmatic. And phlegmatic in regards to a man, specifically men, but we'll also talk about having a phlegmatic wife or a phlegmatic spouse. So as you watch this, please make sure you take notes, and we're going to go straight into the teaching today. Thank you, Jesus. So the phlegmatic is a very unique personality, because the phlegmatic is actually the most likable of all temperaments. The phlegmatic is the most likable of all temperaments. They're very easygoing, easy to get along with. They never want any conflict. By nature, they're just a natural temperament. They're just okay. They don't buck the system. They're just very okay. So they're very easy to get along with. Very calm, very unruffled, very never brings conflict, never brings opposition to anything. They just flow, phlegmatic. They're very okay. And they're also very consistent, very, very consistent in everything that they see. And it's important for you to realize the temperament, because this is something that came naturally. Like if you have blue eyes or brown eyes, I have brown eyes. If you have brown eyes, that was given to me by my parents. So temperaments is the same way. Their children, you know, if you've been a parent, you realize that one child cries a lot in the night and the other one is just mellow and quiet and maybe sleeps through most of the night. And you didn't do anything. They just were born that way. So it is with this temperament. Also, they have a capacity to appreciate fine things. So they, like the melancholy, they appreciate fine arts, and they like better things in life. And I'll tell you something very unique about that. They may like the better things in life, but they may not be willing so much to pay the price for them. But we'll cover that here shortly. So they have a lot of emotion, but rarely does their emotion show in the surface. In other words, they let other people's emotions show up more than their own. They prefer other people's emotions to their own. And they also have a dry sense of humor, and they enjoy people who are humorous, and they enjoy a good laugh, but a very dry sense of humor. In addition to that, the phlegmatic also is the type of individual who could be enjoying a moment, could be enjoying time with someone, but they don't smile. They're just there. Like you can be driving in the car and they're just looking outside and looking around. Not that they're bored, not that they don't have anything to say, but they're just there. They can be in a crowd, but not even mention anything, not ruffle the feathers, not be anything. Like the sanguine, you know them when they're in a crowd. The choleric, you know them when they're in a crowd. The choleric is trying to run the crowd. The sanguine is trying to be the prettiest in the crowd. The melancholy is calling out the mistakes of the crowd, and the phlegmatic is just sitting back and observing. Also, they usually make fun of other temperaments, but they do it from a standpoint of like just observing. They can observe and make fun and enjoy the other temperaments and things like that. Also, the phlegmatic is not easily motivated. They are not very easy to motivate. They have a very usual routine in life. Their life is routine. And they're not looking for much excitement in life. They just want to get along. They don't want to, they just want to get along. If you say go left, we're all going left. If you say go right, hey, that's what I got to do. And that's what we're going to do. They are very, very difficult to motivate. And not only just to motivate, but to keep motivated. Very difficult to keep motivated. And also, if there is an action that needs to be done, if there is an action that needs to be done, they are very difficult to drive and to awaken into action. Also, the phlegmatic will rarely, if at all, rarely and if at all, volunteer for leadership. They must be forced, they must be pushed, they must be driven to step into leadership. And their lack of willingness to lead is not a sign that they are not part of the group. No, they just choose to not be the leader. They are not like the choleric. The choleric will want to be the leader and they'll say, I can do it. The sanguine will say, I can do it, but won't show up. The melancholy will pick everything that's wrong with the method of selecting a leader. You know, so the phlegmatic is also a very natural peacemaker. They don't like conflict. If there is conflict in the house, they'll just be, I don't want to bring problems. If you marry a phlegmatic wife and something they're not happy with, maybe the husband cheats or the husband has an alcohol problem or a drug problem, the phlegmatic doesn't want to cause any problems. They're just like, man, let things be. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. And it's important for you to realize these personalities. Now, also, it's important for you to take the personality test. There is a link that will be provided for that so you can know where you fall and which two dominant personalities and which two dominant temperaments are in operation in your life. You can get that test through the link in this video. Next, the weaknesses. So what are the weaknesses of a phlegmatic? Like I mentioned, they lack drive, they lack ambition. Also, they rarely exceed status quo. They don't have initiative. And now this is one that is very unique. Very unique. The phlegmatic is very selfish, even though it's not obvious. They are very selfish. The phlegmatic will do what they want, when they want, and how they want it, even if it's at the expense of others. Even at the expense of others. The phlegmatic, let's say the husband and the wife are fighting, and one of them is a phlegmatic. They will find security in the children, so they will pour themselves out into the children, take care of the children, as opposed to dealing with the issue at hand. And they are very, very selfish. Let me explain. If you go to war with a phlegmatic, when the bullets begin to fly, the phlegmatic will decide to take care of themselves. The sanguine, will just start shooting everywhere. The choleric will be like, let's come up with a battle plan and we can win. The melancholy will be trying to decide what's right and wrong about this war. Should we fight it? But the phlegmatic, in times of conflict, they get very, very selfish. And it's important for us to realize these things in ourselves. They are very selfish, but it's not obvious. They are too gracious, and sometimes their graciousness may be understood that they are trying to balance. No, what they are trying to do is they are selfish. If you have a phlegmatic at your job, they let everyone else do the job. Everyone else will work hard. But the phlegmatic will be like, yeah, it's okay. Self-indulgent, keeps to themselves, doesn't bear their weight in the team. And they're not against the team, but they're selfish in that way. And they are also very unconcerned with the emotional desires of others. I will talk to you here briefly about sex. If you're married with a phlegmatic, if you yourself are a phlegmatic or married to one, they are very unconcerned about the emotional desires of the other person. Very unconcerned, because they don't want to do what it takes. They don't want to, everything is an inconvenience. Phlegmatics are the ones who come to bed and say, oh, my left toe is hurting. Today I have a headache. Today I had a bad day at the nail shop, so I can't do this, I can't do that. The phlegmatic husband, oh, I'm too sleepy. I'm too sleepy to do anything tonight. And in that sleepiness, they are selfish. It's selfish. But they don't see it that way. There is a phlegmaticism on the inside of them. A phlegmatic, even in work, will see the work suffering, but they will not do what it takes to pick up the standard. And if they do it for a short time and then give up again. Like they do it to perform, not because they make it a natural habit. They do it to perform. They do it for a short while. Also, phlegmatics, when it comes to things that are pertaining to them, they want nice clothes, nice things, but are not willing to do the same for others. Not willing to do the same for others. In other words, I just want to make sure my life is balanced. I want to make sure my life is balanced. Also, no one is more stubborn than the phlegmatic. Very stubborn. They will tell you, the phlegmatic is the type of person when you go ask them why something did not happen, they'll give you 20 reasons why it didn't happen. And the underlying reason is they did not do what it takes. They did not push themselves to do what it takes. They did not exceed what it takes. They did not, I'll give you an example. There was a phlegmatic swimmer in one of the Olympic teams, and they were doing the relay. And during the relay, the phlegmatic lost the race. He was given a winning race and lost it. And when he was asked why he lost the race, his response was, the weather that morning was not right. The other team did not do this, did not do that. He had all the reasons why things were not going well, apart from personal responsibility. A very key note, if you are a phlegmatic, how often do you take personal responsibility? Phlegmatics complain, oh, my parents, oh, my mom, oh, my dad, oh, my husband, you're the problem. My wife, you're the problem. But they themselves will never do anything. When a phlegmatic loses keys in the house, they get mad at the losing of keys. And they say, where did you put the keys? Where did you put? And it's them who forgot where the keys are. It's them themselves. A phlegmatic will say, you should have given me a key holder. And you're like, no, I gave you the key. No, you should have given me this. They rarely look at themselves as the one that needs to change. Why? Because to them, change is too costly. It will require too much, and they are just naturally lazy, Naturally, it's just too much. College student, phlegmatic. a phlegmatic college student is the easiest to drop out of school, because college begins being hard, and you hear the phlegmatic college student talk about things like, why do I have to take all these classes that have nothing to do with my major? And everyone else is taking the classes and moving along. But they're wondering, why do I have to take all these classes that have nothing to do with my major? It's because they don't want to do it. It's too much. Phlegmatic, musician. Why do we have to practice? Can't we just go and play the keyboard like we are gifted, or can I just do this? They don't want to do what it takes to succeed. But they realize the need to succeed. But very stubborn, very, very stubborn. Very stubborn to move. But will never confront, number one, never confront another person, never confront themselves. They don't yell, they don't argue, but they just drag their feet. In everything they do, just drag their feet in everything they do. Also, the phlegmatic is, he can, if the phlegmatic has a more aggressive partner, more aggressive like a choleric or something like that, they are not used to making headstrong decisions. So they feel like they are being dragged along, like you're dragging me along, like you're pulling me along, like you're just going along with me. They don't feel like they are part of what needs to happen. The phlegmatic is the person who is always the last one to get the point. It's like, we've talked about this 5 times and you still don't get it. They're always being dragged along, especially if they have a strong partner. Also, the phlegmatic, the thing about the phlegmatic is, you give them a project and they'll say, yes, I've got it. We are building a house, or we are renovating the house. And they'll say, yes, I got it. But they'll do it at their own time. They don't care about deadlines. They don't care about dates. They'll do it at their own pace. And their own pace is a slow pace. So it causes a lot of frustration, especially to the other team members, and things like that. Now, if you have a phlegmatic personality with a sanguine, remember the sanguine and the choleric, they get very angry quickly. So the phlegmatic sanguine is lazy but gets very angry when things don't work out. So it causes an emotional frustration, and again prone to depression, because your sanguine nature is driving you, but the phlegmatic is not willing to do what it takes to get things done. And it's like a conflict on the inside. It's like an inner conflict. An example of phlegmatics who are sanguines is James in the Bible. James, very laid back, very calm, very loving, but yet he was the leader of the church. So the phlegmatic leader, so many people were angry at James. Paul was angry at James. He tells James, James, why don't you move? Why don't we advance the gospel? Because Paul is, he's trying to get things done. And James is like, yeah, we need to first take care of the poor. Yeah, but we can feed the poor next time. Can you make sure this and this? Paul is like, come on, James. And eventually Paul says, you go that way, I go this way. I'm going to the Gentiles. James is like, yeah, but we have to take care of the Jews first. And Paul is like, take care of the Jews. They are Gentiles that are dying and going to hell. Can we move? The phlegmatic is a procrastinator. Procrastinate. And in their procrastination, they will rush things when they are due and do them badly, but not take responsibility. They'll blame someone else. They won't think I had 3 weeks to get this done. They'll say I didn't have enough time. because they started it 1 hour ago. And they'll get frustrated at everyone else apart from themselves. What a shock. Amazing, 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 amazing. Now, they are also very quick. Now, let's talk about their finances. We're going to talk about their finances, their sex life, communication, emotional, spiritual, quickly in the next 10 minutes. Finances, unmotivated, and they become poor very quickly. Their financial stand, they lose money very quickly. Also, phlegmatics, and this is actually a study that was done. Phlegmatics get demoted often. Let me explain. A phlegmatic personality can make you think they are like they are good because they are quiet. You know, usually calm people get promoted. Like they are calm, they are laid back and things like that. But they get to a position and then they don't have the motivation to sustain the position. They got the position because of their niceness. They are nice. They are nice, but then now when it's time to deliver, they can't deliver. So the phlegmatic, actually the study was done. They get demoted and have the same job for many years, even more than the melancholy. The melancholy can have the same job, but the phlegmatic will have the same job for many years. It's like they hit a ceiling in their career because they are not motivated to break that ceiling. I hope you're understanding what I am teaching. Make sure you comment if you're understanding exactly what I'm teaching. So, they don't achieve much. They rarely get rich. They rarely succeed. And they are okay with just having a job that doesn't require much of them. So often you find a phlegmatic husband, the wife, if they are a choleric, they make more money than them. Also, they don't make good providers. They do not make good providers. Phlegmatic single parents always complain. Oh, my husband, the father of my children or the mother of my children always wants money. If the mother is a phlegmatic, she always complains, oh, your father has money but doesn't give me money. She won't get up and go work. She'll complain that she doesn't have money. The phlegmatic baby daddy will complain that why do I have to work to pay for the child? It's like they just don't want to provide. Providing is don't want to step up and provide. So they are very, very like that. Now, also the debt, paying of debt. Phlegmatics are not too motivated to clear debt. They usually will just let debt be written off, and they're the ones who ignore the phone calls. Let's say a debt collector is calling, no. Because they don't want conflict. They don't want conflict, and they just don't know what to do. When it comes to sex, very unmotivated, very not creative. So the phlegmatic doesn't try many things. Actually, a psychologist, Christian psychologist wrote this. They have cadaver. This is a direct quote. Cadaver sex. A cadaver is a dead body. Basically, they just get in bed and say, do what you're doing and do it quickly. They are very unmotivated, very lazy about sex, very laid back. And if the spouse is phlegmatic, they take what is given. They never adventurous, not like the sanguine. The sanguine will always have a new creation and a new adventure. The choleric will always want to conquer. The melancholy will want to make sure that everything is right before, and the melancholy will hold, they will make sex a reward. Now, the phlegmatic also makes sex a reward, but from a selfish standpoint. To the melancholy, it's a genuine reward, like you've done well, here is sex. But to the phlegmatic, it is you should be happy that I have gone this extent for you. Like I have done this, or I have pushed myself to this level. And it's not like they did much, but it's like, yeah, it's like that. Communication. Communication, the phlegmatic is diplomatic, but will not communicate their emotions. They fall asleep very easy. The moment they sit down, they fall asleep. There's nothing much going on in their mind, like they just sleep very easy. In meetings, they get bored very quickly, they fall asleep. Phlegmatics do not do a whole day's meeting. They do 2 hours and then they're bored. They don't have ideas in meetings. They just keep quiet and just look at everyone. And they are the ones who just, when you guys decide what you want to do, let me know. I don't want to be part of the creative team, and I'm not going to do what it takes to create, but when you decide, let me know. Also, they don't spend too much time with family, taking them out and things like that. Emotionally, they worry a lot, and they are, especially if they are aware of their weaknesses. Now, emotionally, if they are close to someone, a spouse or a child, they are emotionally rude, very emotionally draining. So behind the scene, they are very rude. David's wife, Micah. David's wife, Micah, was a phlegmatic. She had stayed home all day, done nothing. Her choleric husband comes home to bless the house, and she asks him, so you are dancing all day with those girls, huh? Very rude, very rude. And this is for women. If you are a phlegmatic wife, be careful how you talk. Because selfishness and being rude, and the phlegmatic is never seen as wrong. You divorce a phlegmatic, people will say you've made big mistakes. Actually, having a phlegmatic spouse, people will think you have the best marriage. But it's not the truth. The phlegmatic can stay without sexual intimacy for 9 months and still be rude about it. Still be rude about it because they just don't want to do what it takes. They don't want to extend themselves. Thank God that I did not do this research. I am just reading to you the details. In the home also, again, they're very stubborn. They are very, very stubborn. Spiritually unmotivated, laid back, and spiritually, they can be perceived to be good Christians, while actually they are not. Because they are quiet, they are calm, they are not bad people. You know, the sanguine, you can tell this person is a sinner. Not the phlegmatic. The phlegmatic has a sense of a little bit of self-righteousness. Not as much as the melancholy, but a little bit of the same, and they are very, very laid back and very quiet. So that is a phlegmatic, and that is the nature of the phlegmatic. It's important for you to understand these temperaments as we get ready to go to the next teaching on how to balance your temperament with the Spirit of God that's on the inside of you. I hope you've been blessed by this teaching. So many series after series after series of this teaching. I hope it's truly blessed you. I want you to watch this video and then look out for the next video. Make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, make sure you let us know where you're joining from. I would sure do love to hear from you. My name is Evans Kariuki, and I am a firebrand. Watch this. God bless you.
Sowing into the kingdom of God has never been easier. Open your smartphone and text the letters ELHC to 77977. You can also Cash App us, $FirebrandNation. Additionally, you can also go online at www.elhc.life/give. And if you're here with us today, don't forget you can give in person as well. If you have any questions, please call us at 865-971-1988. These are our 4 ways to give. Love God, love others, passionately.